Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, how are my snipers doing today? I hope you guys are doing fantastic. Listen, Turbo is looking to explode. In fact, in the last day, it has done fairly well, right? It has gone up 12%. Now, you might be thinking, dude, 12%, what the hell is 12%? Well, if you actually been paying attention to the way Turbo has been moving the last few weeks, 12% is actually a big day. In general, we know when we go and look at something like Turbo, volume, right? Volume was really low the other day. We were sitting at 19 million volume. And, that's very unorthodox for Turbo, right? That's very, very unorthodox. And we know it's not, it's not a Turbo issue. The whole market is just really kind of slow and sideways. And, it's just a little bit annoying, but no, patience is a virtue for a reason. Okay. It's something you have to learn. I know some people are very patient. They watched videos every day. They, they look at the charts. They've been holding, Turbo for over a year now, right? Some people a year and a half, some people a couple of months. I know, patience, some of you guys have that, right? Anyways, right, we can see that we are at 270 million market cap, 44 million volume. We will get that day again where we have 400 million volume. I can promise you that altcoin season is going to be absolutely nuclear, absolutely insane. And I know, people cannot wait for that day. In terms of news from Turbo themselves, nothing really here, right? Just post them being active, which is what we love to see. Now, I said it before and I'll say it again, that Turbo is at a point in the crypto scene where it's more about maintaining, right? It's more about maintaining the holders. It's more about, high quality announcements than just little things, right? Than just little things. Because the thing is, Turbo has practically achieved anything that's little, medium, and big, right? Like they have done it. They practically completed the game. In fact, they have done more than complete the game because of the amount of innovation and things they're doing. And I'm still sure Turbo themselves have a few tricks under their sleeves, a few potential partnerships, a few things that are going to line up over the next few months. I don't know. I'm not the person that runs this. I don't have a coin. I don't do this. I don't do that, right? But ladies and gentlemen, right, we've seen time and time again, Turbo, the amount of innovation, the things they pull off, they never fail to disappoint. Of course, the one on top of my head is always Robinhood, right? Robinhood is the next big boy that we're all aiming to pretty much be on, right? The next platform. When we look at the holders, ladies and gentlemen, we can see we've actually gone up 20 holders the last time we checked. Last time we checked, I'm pretty sure we're at 55,912 holders. So, roughly 20 holders, nothing crazy, but not bad during, a more rough and slow period, right? We can see when we go to the technical analysis that we are looking to try to break out of this range, right? Last time we talked about how we have a range over here and we generally have a range over here. And that I believe Turbo is looking to be breaking out of this range to then go to the next range of 0.0046, right? Just generally speaking, right? And this is how the markets move, right? They go from going down sideways or going down, selling off to eventually going sideways to eventually going up. And we can see that momentum and structure has really been in our favor, right? We can see that when, you see there's been multiple taps over here, boom, boom, boom. And if you guys know, or maybe you don't know, that when something taps more and more times, it actually doesn't strengthen it, actually weakens it. So we can see, right, we were bouncing off of 0.003839 roughly multiple times, but Turbo did not stop fighting, right? We had this low, right? We had a nice rally, then we had a higher low, we had practically equal highs, then again, we had equal lows, then we again had equal highs, and then we can see we actually had higher lows. So we are even though our tops were kind of the same, our bottoms were continuously going higher and higher, which is why we are looking to break out of here. Now, what do I think is going to happen? Well, I think actually we are most likely going to slow down in momentum just a little bit, right? Just a little bit. But then we're going to chill here and then we're going to explode, in my opinion, right? In my personal opinion, that is what I think is going to happen. We can see Bitcoin has been, kind of weird. I don't like the higher time frame Bitcoin price action too much, if I'm being honest. It does seem like it wants to drop. And obviously, if something like Bitcoin drops, then we should expect Turbo to drop, generally speaking, right? Generally speaking. But I am going to wait to see how this weekly candle closes, how everything aligns, because the reality is, ladies and gentlemen, is that, if the next few hours are going to be diabolical for Bitcoin, let's say we go back down to 106,000, then of course, this information that I said won't be relevant. And it does mean that we did fail to break out, right? We did fail to break out, all right, which would absolutely suck, but it is just the name of the game sometimes. But overall, like for us, the 4 hour candle looks good, the daily candle looks good, but we still have some time left, right? We still have some time left in the day. So of course things can change. A prime example of not getting overhyped is something like ZBEC Network. Right, me, I've been covering this coin a lot on this channel. But the reason why I said, it's always good to wait until to see how the weekly truly closes, because ZBEC at one point on a Monday had a very nice big candle, like one of the biggest ones they've had in a while, right? But then what happened in the next few days? It sold off. And then it actually went from looking very promising in the beginning of the week to actually a very great rejection candle to go lower, right? So that's the thing, people. That's the thing. Trading, turbo, everything is just the game of patience, and is just a game of confirmations, right? Sometimes we have nice early signs, sometimes we have big confirmations, but sometimes it's just patience. But yeah, overall, I'm still optimistic about this coin. I am still super, super optimistic about Turbo. Generally speaking, on the higher time frame, I do believe, we are going to be creating a reverse head and shoulders on the 6 months, and I do expect things to pump very, very nicely over the next 6 months. I do, right? And of course, if I'm wrong, that probably means, we never got the altcoin season we desired, or things got seriously delayed, which would also be very, very annoying, because I know a lot of you want to cash out much sooner than later because you've been holding probably at least for a year and a half for most of you at this point, if not even longer. But yeah, that is it, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys did enjoy this, right? On the monthly, it still looks good. The last two candles have been very weak in terms of sell, so I do expect for us to overtake and pump higher and higher. But anyways, I hope you guys did enjoy, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Goodbye.